Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to our SmartDepart travel series. We're going to give everyone a couple of minutes to sign on. So grab a seat, grab a drink, and we'll start in just a couple of minutes. I'll apologize in advance for any background noise. I'm coming to you live from New York City, so there's some street noise you might hear. Just keeps it interesting, you know? All right, and we have our guest Lucas here as well, so we're really excited to talk to him. So when you guys are all settled and ready, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, I'm feeling antsy, so I'd like to get us started. I want to welcome everyone formally to our SmartDepart travel series brought to you by AAA Travel this afternoon. My name's Ann Lishway and I'll be your host. I'm very excited to be with you today. We're continuing our discussion on safe travel, so we're really excited to continue that discussion with Club Adventures. So here at AAA, we are focused on bringing our members the information they need to ensure safety while traveling, whether that's on the road, in the air, on the seas, and providing you guidance and peace of mind to plan for all of those future adventures. So today, we're focusing on a great private touring option brought to us by Club Adventures, which is AAA's owned and operated adventure company. So we're really seeing a rising trend in members leaning into travel options for their own small group, whether that's extended family, small groups of like-minded friends, even multi-generational travel. So these private touring options, we're going to talk more about them today, give travelers the opportunity to put safety first by really limiting exposure, and also offers incredible opportunities to customize and still create the adventure of a lifetime. So before we dive in, I want to take a moment first to thank all of our AAA members for taking the time to be with us today, and also those who submitted questions to the panel ahead of time. Please feel free to submit a question through your Q&A chat box during any time in the presentation, and we might not be able to get to every question at the end, but we will certainly do our best. And as always, our AAA travel team is standing by to assist. So if your question doesn't get answered today, please feel free to reach out to your trusted AAA travel agent or visit your local branch or go to aaa.com/travel for information. So during the last couple of months, our AAA travel agents have moved mountains for their clients, reworking travel plans, ensuring the best deals and value for their members, and ensuring that they always have the most up-to-date information in, as you know, a rapidly changing landscape. So when you're all ready to travel again, and I know that I am, we want you to feel safe and confident doing so. Our agents also excel at creating private journeys, and we'll talk more about that today, either with our friends here at Club Adventures or our other supplier partners. And I, for one, cannot wait to get back to exploring. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. These private group offers really are such an amazing opportunity to do so. So today, we're going to chat with Lucas Bielecki. He is the head of sales at Club Adventures. And as I mentioned, Club Adventures is our owned and operated AAA adventure tour operator. So they have itineraries that really span the globe. So Lucas, to get us started, I want to talk a little bit about adventure travel itself. So in my head, adventure travel is really climbing mountains and scuba diving. Is that what adventure travel is about to you?
Well, that's part of it, Anne. First off, great to see you. Thanks for inviting us to present today. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg, and we want to dispel that myth because adventure is really for everyone. I think sometimes people hear the word adventure and they think they have to be a mountain climber, but that couldn't be further from the case. We get all demographics on our tours. We get people of all activity levels. And really, ultimately, what it's about is just the overall experience that you get while you're traveling, getting more in depth to destinations, more authentically. And the focus for us is always meeting and getting to know the local people we're there to visit as much as possible. I got a little delay here. Jeremy, if you want to click the next slide.
And that's great to hear, because I think that not every one of our members may be ready to scuba dive. And so it's nice to hear that adventure can go really beyond that.
Most definitely. So let me take a step back. I want to start with our AAA brand legacy. And as you mentioned, we're owned and fully operated by AAA. So back in 2016, we launched a brand called AAA Exclusive Vacations, because as a federation of clubs around the country, we wanted to create our own tour operator and provide trips that are exclusive to AAA members that they couldn't find anywhere else. So we've got a small selection of what we call themed tours here in the United States that we still operate under that AAA Exclusive Vacations brand. Then in 2018, we greatly expanded with our launch of Club Adventures. So Club Adventures are small group global journeys, anywhere from 8 to 14 days long. They're always going to be hosted by one of our local leaders that are going to help you get closer and deeper into the destinations we visit, like I was saying before. So we've had a great couple of first years, and we're really looking forward to people getting back out there to adventure. So whether it's looking for something now a little bit closer to home in your own backyard and doing a good old-fashioned American road trip adventure, or looking for a global journey halfway around the world, we now have something for everyone. And so these are our main 4 travel styles for every traveler that is out there. So again, AAA Exclusive Vacations, that's the brand we started with. We have a Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C. every April when the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. We have an Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, which is in New Mexico in early October. And we also ring in the new year every year with a Tournament of the Roses parade in Pasadena in Southern California. So it's a great, fun, festive way to ring in the new year. Then we've got our main Club Adventures brand. So these are the small group adventures that we operate all over the world. And within the Club Adventures brand, we have what we call Women Explorers, which are departure dates that have been curated by women, for women, and even led by female local leaders. So we're giving our female travelers a local perspective through the lens of female from that country, which is a fantastic opportunity to create shared experiences and memories. And then finally, we've got our American Experiences brand, which we recently launched this summer because if you're like myself, if you're like Anne, you want to get out there, and during a time where maybe you don't feel it's safe yet to travel internationally, or you can't travel to a lot of countries, we wanted to supply our travelers with the opportunity to hit the road doing an old-fashioned American road trip adventure, the Club Adventures style. So we're really excited about our selection of curated road trip adventures with American Experiences. So going back to the main Club Adventures small group brand, the big difference for me as a traveler is the group size. So our groups are never more than 16 travelers. they average 10 to 12. So, when you travel in a group that small, you're able to get a little bit more off the beaten path and go places that larger groups would never have the opportunity to visit. Again, all of these programs are hosted by what we call a local leader. So our local leaders are local guides from the country or the region that you're visiting. And it's almost like you're traveling with a friend through the area that really knows the culture and that destination. So they really make the areas you're visiting come alive. As far as meals, food is one of my favorite parts of travel. So if we include meals, we want them to matter. We don't include meals just to add extra meals to an itinerary. So we're going to look for great local restaurants that really show off the flavors of the destination. We're going to look for cooking classes and sometimes even have multi-course cooking experiences together, or even home-hosted meals where we're invited into local families' homes and breaking bread with them, which is always an amazing experience. Our local leaders are trained to look for very authentic connections. Again, connecting with the local people is always going to be an emphasis for us. And they're able to take us to places that would almost be impossible to experience as an independent traveler, which is really important. I always say these are tours for people that don't think they like tours, because you learn and see so much more with that local leader. We're also looking for inspired experiences that are more off the beaten path, that again, you wouldn't find in maybe a typical guidebook that you're looking through. And that's again, where that local leader comes into play and really enhances that experience for us. We say travel unscripted because we actually give our travelers a fair amount of free time in our itineraries. We want our travelers to have enough time to be able to write their own script and create their own adventures. And, we're all a group of travelers here at Club Adventures, and we feel like sometimes the best travel experiences happen when you least expect them. They're the things that are not written down in a day-by-day itinerary. So we wanted to incorporate plenty of time for those, areas of spontaneity to happen. And then finally, a big difference, and this was always the case when we launched in 2018, but now more than ever, our deposit policy is great. We call our deposits movable deposits. And the reason is, anytime outside of your final payment due date, which has now been pushed back to 45 days prior to departure. So we're giving our travelers a lot of time and flexibility. If you, for any reason, change your mind, what we'll do is we'll keep your deposit on file for up to 2 years and allow you to rebook any Club Adventures experience that you would like. So you won't be locked into the same trip that you originally signed up for. You can rebook anything that you want when the time is right. You can even give it away to a friend or a family member. So your deposit is fully transferable to someone else, which is a big difference as well.
Yeah, that is amazing. I think those movable deposits really make a big difference to our members. If anyone has a movable deposit they'd like to gift, I'm sure Lucas or myself would be happy to take it off your hands. But it's really exciting to hear more about adventure travel and really what that means. I think we do get stuck in, it could be, we see it one way in our heads, but there's so many different ways that adventure shows up in our lives. I think it also prevents, or there's really a great opportunity here, being, small group departures, to travel in a bubble, as we call it, or I've heard you call it just your crew. Can you explain more about how Club Adventures really sets itself apart from other operators within group travel?
Yeah, absolutely. We are really, really excited about this. Previous to this year, if you wanted to do a private group with Club Adventures, you had to have at least 10 people. And so we've made that a little bit easier and lowered that minimum number requirement to 6, which I'm really excited about. That's quite small. So you think about, gathering a small group of your friends or family members, people that you're comfortable traveling with, and you'll have your own private departure. No one else will join you, and you'll have your own local leader that is just with you and your group the entire time. So we call it Just Your Crew. You can call it Traveling with Your Bubble, whatever you'd like, but we're very, very excited about it.
That is exciting. I like to think that I have at least 5 friends that are gonna go on an adventure with me. So that's really, really exciting to hear, and I think that is very unique to Club Adventures. Can you share some more information with us about, some of your favorite group destinations, or just options for our members who might be thinking about which itineraries and experiences are right for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of extra points I wanted to touch on briefly. Whenever you have a group of more than 10 people, we are actually able to customize your itinerary. So you can go at your own pace on your own time. So for example, if you wanted to add an extra night at a destination, you really want to slow things down and spend more time there, not a problem at all. Or let's say you wanted to take a full day to go out and explore some of the local wineries in a nearby area. Absolutely, so if we have at least 10 people, we can customize itineraries suited to your needs. So that's one thing I definitely wanted to make sure you're aware of. Also, another benefit, like I said before, traveling with a group of your friends or family, these are people you can trust. Another nice thing too, all of our regular departure dates, if you were to book, 1 or 2 people into one of our dates, kids have to be at least 15 years old to travel with Club Adventures. However, if you do a private group with us, children can be as young as 5. So this allows for some pretty unforgettable family trip opportunities. So think about, let's say you want to go down to Costa Rica or to the Galapagos Islands to see wildlife up close and in person. 2 grandparents, 2 parents, and 2 kids, and you've already got your own private group adventure with Club Adventures. So, we're opening up a phenomenal opportunity for families with this lower number. So different types of adventure ideas. Let's say you wanted to craft that girls' getaway that you've been talking about for years with your friends. Go out to Tuscany and drink wine and eat cheese at local wineries. That sounds pretty good to me. Or grab your partner and just 2 other couples and you're ready to go and take off to the islands of Greece or to Thailand to explore. Or how about the coolest high school reunion ever? I know a couple years ago, I did my own private group of friends to Peru. And there were 9 of us in our group. And they were all friends from high school and college and a few post-college. And, these days people move and they live everywhere. And so we don't get an opportunity to see each other as frequently. And so this was a great excuse for us to have a reunion and for all of us to get together to have a shared experience. And I know my friends and I are still talking about that trip years later. Another benefit, if you do have a slightly larger group, if you fill a group with 15 travelers, the 16th spot is free. So let's say you're working as a group leader, so to speak, and you're gathering the group together and working really hard to get a group of your friends or family to travel with you. We reward that person with a free spot on the tour if you get up to 15 full-paying travelers, which is great. Now, I wanted to give you a couple of quick examples of some trips we've done with some groups recently. We had a group travel with us to northern Thailand, and they were specifically interested in the Lantern Festival in Chiang Mai that happens every November. So we set the date specific to their interest around that festival, and then we gave them a few extra days in the itinerary to really get the full experience there. And they came back absolutely wowed. They loved the experience, and I personally am a big fan of Thailand, so always recommend people go to visit. We had a great family group travel with us to India. And again, you know, traveling as a private group offers a sense of security, but also a great bonding experience as well. And having that local leader with you, you know, at first they kind of start off as a guide in your mind, but very quickly they become part of your group and part of your family, and really more like a friend that you're traveling with through the area. So, you know, these special connections can really be made traveling as a private group. Now, I wanted to highlight some of our most popular itineraries for groups. We've had several groups come to us specifically on these trips. So we've got a great Galapagos trip, as I mentioned earlier, which is fantastic for families or multi-generational groups. If you want to explore the Greek islands and learn about ancient Greek history and, you know, eat olives and drink ouzo, Greece Island Discovery is a fantastic itinerary. What if you've always dreamed of going on that safari in East Africa? You know, years ago watching Out of Africa, you thought, I want to do that someday. You can do that with just 6 people, believe it or not. Moving Morocco, very, very popular for us. Italy, of course, is always popular. We've got our Portrait of Italy's Amalfi Coast, which is one of our 3 itineraries to Italy. We also have some great trips here in the United States, including the national parks of the Southwest. We've got Peru, as I mentioned, I did with my group of friends. We have Vietnam and Thailand, both in Southeast Asia. And then back in Europe, we've got a phenomenal Croatia in Motion, which was really focused on the food and wine of Croatia, which is absolutely fantastic. I want to show off a quick quote from one of our travelers that did a private group with us to Morocco. And Laura actually helped put together a women's group to Morocco. And they had an absolutely phenomenal time. As you can see, she said, we can't wait to travel the world with Club Adventures. You know, that was their first experience with us. And I have to say, we've got some super fans out there. In our short time we've been around, we've actually had people come back and rebook with us quite a few times. So once you experience this way of travel, it really makes a difference. And I know when I was talking to Laura after her trip, she came back and she said, you know, we went out to the Sahara Desert. We rode camels into the Sahara, and we had one night at a luxury desert camp with the desert surrounding us. And everyone in our group, instead of staying in our luxury tent, which had a bed and shower inside of it, we took some bedding outside and we ended up sleeping out underneath the stars, which ended up being one of the great highlights of the tour. So again, that's a perfect example of an unscripted moment, not written in the day-by-day itinerary, but ended up being one of the best highlights of the whole trip.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I'm sure that many of us are jealous of Laura and would like to be sleeping under the stars, especially out in the desert. I have to throw in a little personal anecdote. I was lucky enough myself to go on a Club Adventures trip last year to Jordan, and we also got that really unique experience of experiencing the desert at night out in the Wadi Rum Desert. So just millions of stars, completely in the middle of nowhere, and it is an experience that you just you'll never forget. And being there with, you know, friends and family, I really think it's such a bonding experience. So something to look forward to, as we say. So really all of those itineraries that you mentioned sound absolutely breathtaking.
Oh, they are. And, you know, one thing that really makes our trips the best are our local leaders. And I can't really say enough about them, whether it's Hamid in Morocco or which was my guide we had in Thailand. She was an incredible local leader. She would joke that she was the 4th A because she knew I was with AAA. Or Vinny, who is one of our best guides in Italy, and he guides our groups to Cinque Terre through the 5 villages of that part of Italy. they really, again, make the destination come alive. It's like having a concierge with you the entire time that is telling you all the great things to see or giving you insight into the history and culture of their country that they're very proud of. They also happen to always know the best places to eat and drink, so that always comes in handy as well. But if you're craving more travel unscripted time, one of the best things about traveling as a private group is you are in charge. This is your group. So let's say you say, you know what, we want to, just relax tomorrow morning and sleep in and just have a chill day. No problem. It's completely your group, and you don't have to go necessarily by the day-by-day itinerary as it's written. So, again, having that friend with you, our local leaders, is hugely important to adding to the experience. And that's why, as an independent traveler myself, I absolutely love these trips because, I learned so much more from them.
Amazing. I have to absolutely agree. So I do want to shift gears a little bit. I want to make sure that we can touch on safety. This is SmartDepart after all. So I want to hear a little bit more about how Club Adventures is handling this new normal and working in the COVID landscape to prepare to our return to travel.
Yeah, of course, it's a very important topic. And again, being a AAA owned operator, the safety and security of our travelers and our AAA members is our first priority, of course, always. So we are following the guidelines of the CDC, as well as USTOA, which is the United States Tour Operator Association, and ATTA, which is the Adventure Travel Trade Association. So those three organizations combined, we've put together a very safe way to travel again. So first off, our small group size. Just the nature of our trips by themselves offer more opportunity for social distancing and not traveling with a big herd of people. So that's hugely important. We will give all of our travelers a wellness update pre-trip. So that's going to be something that we will, of course, touch base with everyone in the group on. We always recommend purchasing travel insurance, and with AAA, our insurance partner is Allianz Travel. So you can work with your local AAA agent to book a great Allianz policy for you and your group. Masks will be worn while on tour when we're not able to social distance, and we will supply hand sanitizer and masks for people. And one nice thing too, we have a network of global offices around the world with on-the-ground employees. So we know where the top-notch healthcare facilities are throughout the entire itinerary, and our local leaders are trained to know exactly where the closest hospitals or healthcare centers are. So if anyone were to need some help during the trip, we would be on the ground ready to help everyone in that type of a situation.
That is amazing. It's really great to hear about all of those different precautions that are in place. It certainly makes me feel more comfortable, and I'm sure makes our members feel more comfortable about looking forward to traveling and knowing all of those things that are in place. So I want to go ahead and see if there's any questions that have popped up here.
While you're looking, Ann, I did want to mention we just created a safety protocol landing page on our website. So if you're interested, you can see the URL listed at the bottom of this screen. If you're on clubadventures.com, if you scroll to the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a wellness and safety link as well. So you can just click onto that link, and that's a way you can read more about the safety protocols that we've done a great job putting together. And as a reminder, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but being owned and backed by AAA, the health and safety of our members is always going to be our top priority. And we want our employees to be safe as well.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more.
So definitely connect with us. Make sure if you're on social media, we've got Facebook and Instagram pages at Travel Club Adventures. So if you search at Travel Club Adventures, please join us. You can follow on our adventures and see all the amazing places we travel around the world. And then, of course, clubadventures.com as well is our website. So I encourage you, explore it. We actually refreshed it just recently, and I'm really proud of our website. And so you can check it out and experience for yourself by looking at some great videos and explore some of our itineraries. Of course, the best way, though, to book Club Adventures is to connect with your local AAA agent at your local branch. So I encourage all of you to go to AAA.com/travel to connect with your local club and your local AAA travel agent, because it's great to have local support when you're planning for your trip. And then again, it's great to have local support while you're traveling as well. So it's the best of both worlds. I did want to touch on one current special offer that we've got. And don't worry about writing down the promo code. Your AAA agent can definitely help you with that. But if you do have a preformed group of 6 or more family or friends that you want to travel with, and you've been talking about this maybe for a few months now because we're all getting a little bit stir crazy through quarantine. If you sign up your group of 6 or more travelers with deposits by October 30th, you and everyone in the group will save $50 per person for travel on any 2021 or 2022 tour. So our top selling trips, we actually have dates and pricing available through 2022. So if you're not quite ready to plan something for next year, you can plan further ahead into 2022 as well.
That's great. I think planning ahead now is more important than ever.
Absolutely.
So we do have a couple of questions that have come in. The first question is, will groups of 16 or more be divided due to social distancing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, we typically specialize in groups less than 16. But if you do have a bit more than that, we will have more than one vehicle for the group so that we can divide the group. They can still travel together, but we want to make sure there's plenty of space for people when we are traveling from point A to point B. And then, of course, while we're exploring destinations by foot, our local leaders are going to be very aware of social distancing for everyone in the group, and just make sure there's plenty of opportunity for that, just to keep everyone safe. So that's an excellent question. And if you do have a group larger than 16, definitely, again, connect with your local AAA agent, and they will, find out more about what your interests are and get in touch with us, and we can help plan your next adventure.
Absolutely. I have another question here on group size. So if you have a group that is less than 10 people, can you customize that trip?
Another good question. So no, you actually can only customize for groups of 10 or more people. So if you have a group less than 10, so a group between 6 and 9 people, you do have to stick with the Club Adventures itinerary as we've designed it. That said, the itineraries are phenomenal, and you still will have a private local leader with you in your group the entire time. So it's still going to be an absolutely incredible experience. If you do want to customize, though, yes, you do have to have at least 10 or more people to do so.
Perfect. So I'm taking my notes here. So I want to check that my numbers are right. So minimum 6 people, they can make a private bubble group, if you will. Yep. And then 10 people they can customize. And then after 15 people, they get someone free. Is that right?
You got it. Very good note taking, Ann.
I got my notes. It's important. One last question. Looking to the future to 2021, what do you see being some of the really, popular destinations or destinations that Club Adventures is seeing that are really popular?
Oh, great question. I think in the early part of the year, we're still going to see a lot of our travelers focused on those American experiences, road trips a little bit closer to home. But we're seeing already, probably starting in the third quarter of next year, so in the summer of next year, people are starting to plan their international adventures. And we've already seen a lot of interest in Greece. We've had several new bookings come in for Greece. We've had inquiries about places like Egypt. We've had Peru is starting to take back off again. So it's kind of hard to see a trend. There's always a lot of interest in Europe. But, for those that, want outside of Europe and getting into, some real adventure, as I like to call it, that's where, you can have the most phenomenal experiences, in my opinion. And so we've recently had a group request for East Africa as well. And as I was saying, Kenya, Tanzania, I've had the opportunity to travel to both of those countries, and I highly recommend it. If you have the means, it's just a once in a lifetime experience to go on a safari in East Africa. So I'd say those are probably the ones I've seen come in lately, but time will tell as people get more and more comfortable dipping their toe back into travel. I think we're going to see pent up demand like we've never seen it before, because again, I'll use myself as an example. I should be in Scotland right now with that same group of friends. We actually planned another private group, and I should be sipping scotch on the Isle of Islay today. So when it's safe to travel, when we're all comfortable again, we'll be out on the road again, and we'll be ready to help you all as well. So, we look forward to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You'll get to Scotland soon, I'm sure.
Oh, I know it.
So we have one other question here. They're working on a group for fall of 2021 to Morocco, and they're curious about cancellation policies. So they're wanting to hear what your cancellation policies are and what those options look like.
Good questions today. So, another great private group destination, Morocco, I had the chance to visit a couple of years ago, and I absolutely loved it. It was phenomenal. So, you put down a movable deposit. Everyone puts down a $300 per person movable deposit. Your deposit is non-refundable, but again, anytime outside of 45 days prior to your departure, you can cancel the trip for any reason, and we will hang on to your deposit and we'll hold it for up to 2 years. So, if something comes up and the group can't make it in the fall of 2021, we can postpone it, or you can postpone it, and then let us know when you're ready to rebook through 2023. So again, it's an incredibly flexible policy. We want to make things as easy as possible for people that want to get out there and travel, but we realize life happens and things come up. So we want to make sure people are protected as well.
Absolutely. And that movable deposit, what can they use that to book? Can they book with Club Adventures or any of the other brands?
Yes, they can actually use it for any Club Adventure small group trip and any Women Explorers trip. They can also use it to book any American Experiences road trip vacation if they just wanted to do their own independent adventure here in the US. Or they could even use it for our AAA exclusive vacations themed tours. So if they wanted to move their deposit to our Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, as an example, we'd allow them to do that as well. So again, the idea is to, do the right thing for our members and help them with a lot of flexibility.
Absolutely. I think that makes really a big difference. So that's all that we have time for today. We appreciate everyone who joined us, especially our panelist, Lucas, really a world traveler. We appreciate your transparency and really getting us excited for the road ahead. I know that my own wanderlust is charged up now, and I want to plan at least 3 new adventures. all of this information really does also give us, I think, a greater peace of mind about traveling again soon. So if any of you have any questions, please do reach out to your AAA travel agent. You can visit your local branch, or you can always find us at AAA.com/travel. We love hearing from you. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Lucas, again, and I hope you all have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Ann. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.